I'd love the Brood Horror to be a warband leader in Warcry because the leader of the flesh. The Brood Horror. Oh gosh, I really want the Brood Horror to make it to Warcry. I think it might end up being a monster. I don't think it'll be a hero unit, personally. I don't think that's where we're going to go. But you know what? I'd love to see it. I think the model itself, I just need an excuse to buy. And I don't play Age of Sigmar anymore. So if Games Workshop want me to buy it, put that thing in Warcry, and I will buy it and I will use it. Even if it's, I just need it to be, if it's a monster, I just need it to be passable. Like just passable, right? Make it usable. I don't need it to be especially good. I just need it to be average, and I will play that thing all day long just because of it, just because it's a Brood Horror. Like, that's it. Yeah, Zingba, exactly. Games Workshop hasn't added any more monsters to Warcry after like the initial amount. I think there was a massive knee-jerk reaction to monsters. I'm not going to blame America, but I'm going to blame America. So I think, was it like the first Warcry event that happened? Or was it like Adepticon or Nova or something? And Dan was there, and he won it with Chimera Plate Bearers. I think it was. He won it with, and there was a lot of chimeras. Basically, we never really saw a lot of monsters here in the UK. The main reason for that is we're at Warhammer World. And Warhammer World, well, one, they insist that every model must be a Games Workshop model, right? So the Chimera miniature was like out of stock forever and ever and ever before around the time that Warcry was released, right? So you just couldn't buy the thing. So even if you wanted to use it, you couldn't. So you would have had to convert it from something or do something else. And a lot of people just kind of didn't bother. Those rules didn't apply in America because you could use it was a third-party event, so you could basically use third-party things. That led to most, if not all, of the American events banning monsters. The other thing that we have going for us in the UK is that our Warcry boards are really, really dense. Like, I'm talking 1.5 boards worth of actual terrain. So, but when I say 1.5 boards, I mean Heart of Gur times 1.5. So you get a lot of stuff on the board. And I'll never forget, we went to an event up at Warhammer World, and someone brought a zombie dragon, and they complained. They complained to the TO that there was physically nowhere that they could place their pie plate of a base. So it was kind of hilarious. But when terrain is that dense, it's a real consideration as to what you bring, right? So you're not likely to bring mega bosses with their very large bases, right? You're less likely to bring all of these really big things because you physically can't move them around, and if you can't move them around, you can't win the game. So that's why I think there was a big knee-jerk reaction to monsters initially. Games Workshop put the points up on them, all of them, by about 100 points, and they kind of died a death after that. And I think there was this agreement that, oh yeah, well, monsters thematically don't really work in Warcry because we're talking about warbands of dudes, and they're Chimera, or they're Giant, or they're Mutilate Vortex Beast, or whatever. That being said, I have had some real fun games against monsters. Giants, specifically. I've had a couple of games against Giants now. That's fun, because they do damage, yes, but they're also killable. And I think that's the trick with anything in this game. Like, go back to Swarms, for example, right? Yeah, Swarms are not the problem. Monsters are not the problem. The problem is stuff that will not die. And when you have monsters or any fighter that is super killy, but also will not die, that's kind of an issue. But a giant will just fall over eventually. Its damage is good. It's not so over the top that you'll be kicking yourself, and it's something you can deal with it. I think I had a Storm Fiend that killed the giant, but it was really cool because the Storm Fiend and the giant were like rolling there for like 2-3 turns, and it was kind of fun. I have a DM I meet 2 times every in Warhammer World for a Warcry tournament. I love this game boards, and I know monster rules. Yeah, you don't have to run monsters if you don't want to, but you know what? Some people like them. And I'm all for people being able to play the models that they like and that are cool. I think it's fine for strong fighters and strong models to exist in a game. I think it's absolutely fine. What I am not a fan of is for them to be unbalanced. So you can have strong fighters, but they have to have weaknesses and they have to be well balanced. If they're not, then yeah, it's MPE. It's a terrible game experience. But otherwise, I'm fine with gut wars being in the game as long as you had to pay like, I don't know, 320 points for them. You know, it's just it depends on where you want the power level of the game to be. A lot of people say, "Oh, I want my things to be stronger. Things need to be stronger. This is the best things. My fighters can't stand up to the best things." But then I question, all right, so how strong do you want them to be, and what are the knock-on effects of these fighters being that strong? Does it mean that it just pushes like certain warband builds and certain warband archetypes way above the rest, which means that like no one else gets to have fun? No, I think yeah, you can have strong things, but they should be balanced.